Alright guys, so in this video, I want to talk to you guys about the art of getting things done. Now, I recently got approached by one of my followers on Instagram, and we were having a chat about my new website called urbanathletic.fit, which is geared towards providing valuable information, ebooks, and video courses to help modern entrepreneurs and digital professionals with their health and fitness and athletic goals. Now, if you are someone who is crushing their career goals but want to also crush your fitness game, do check out this website, as I'm trying my best to provide valuable information to help you guys out with your fitness goals. I'll leave the link in the description below, so feel free to check it out and let me know how you guys are liking the website so far. But enough about the website itself. Let's bring it back to our friend from Instagram. So we were having a chat about this website, and I think they are a software developer themselves, and they wanted to know, how do I get so much done with a full-time job? Now, just to make it clear, I don't have a full-time job anymore. The last time I had a full-time job was last year in 2020, when I was working as a full-time software developer for e-commerce companies, building features both on the front end and also the back end of the websites and their ecosystem of microservices and applications that they had. So I don't have a full-time job anymore, but I still be as productive as possible with quite a few things on my plate right now. Now, this YouTube channel does take quite a bit of time. Each video could take anywhere from 10 hours to 15 to even 20 hours at times, from the stage of idea to filming, to editing, and then actually producing it, and then publishing it out. At the same time, I've been writing quite a few blog articles, been researching, been working on my personal website, and have been thinking about all the products and services that I want to create in the health and fitness industry, as that is one of my biggest passions. And that does take quite a bit of time. Now, back when I was working with my company, we had a whole backlog of features that we had to build out on our websites. And while working in an agile environment with a bi-weekly sprint, our managers and the product team did a great job in assigning tasks to the entire team, be it the team lead, be it the designers, be it the product guys, data analysts, or myself as an e-commerce software developer building features both on the front end and the back end. But we were all aware of our deadlines, and we had accountability systems. I would be checking in with my manager every week to see where I was, if I was facing any hurdles, if I was facing any problems, or if I needed anyone's help to write the code to build out the feature that I was working on. We would have daily stand-up meetings where we would discuss our problems, discuss our progress, and all of that kept us accountable. But ever since I've been working for myself, working on my business, working on this YouTube channel, working on my websites, writing articles, doing the research, it does take quite a bit of energy to manage myself. And I'm not just talking about the time, I'm talking about managing myself and trying to be as productive as I can in the time that I have while being efficient with it. So in the past 2 years or so, I'm a fan of self-development, personal development, and productivity tips and tools and things that I can leverage in my life to be better on a regular basis. And I came across these 5 principles from this book called Getting Things Done by David Allen, where he talks about quite a few interesting things about our behaviors, about our brains, and how we tend to procrastinate just because of the complexity of the things that we are trying to get done. Now, this person asked me that they have a side project that they are working on, which is a social media, I think, website or an application, but they kind of abandoned it when they started a job full-time, and they really couldn't find time to work anymore on this project. And they were wondering, how do I get things done? Which is why in this video, I want to share out with you guys these 5 principles that I picked up from this book, which have made my life a lot easier and effective at getting things done. Now, I had already been doing things like this in some fashion, but after actually gaining insight into this system, I have been a lot more effective at the work that I'm doing now, and been keeping up fairly well with my schedule and been producing consistently. Now, am I the best? No, I am trying to be better with these systems and learning more about these. And as I go about learning them, applying them in my own life, I want to share out these ideas with you guys so that maybe you can leverage them in your own life to be more effective at your work, and even outside your work if you have another business idea or a side project that you might be working on. So let's talk about this concept now. It's called CORE, which is CCORE, which translates into capturing, clarifying, organizing, reflecting, and engaging. And we'll be talking about all of these 5 things one at a time. So let's talk about capturing. Let's talk about the times that we are might be taking a walk, might be working out, and we get all of these insights ideas, could be action steps, could be solutions to the problems that we might be having with our projects that we are working on at work, outside our work, could be anything. But we never can really do something with them. We get these aha moments and we're like, you know what, that would be a great idea if I could just implement that. All right, you know what, I'll get to it later. And by the time that we actually want to do that, the idea has already flown away. We cannot recall it maybe, we cannot remember it in its entirety, and we can not really put it to a good use, you know? So what's the use of having that idea in the first place? Now I want to talk to you guys about this insight I had from this another book called An Organized Mind by, I think the author's name is David J. Levitin. I might have to correct myself on that, but they were saying that our minds and our brains are a great device at recognizing patterns, making sense of things, and coming up with intelligent insights. But our brains are really bad at recalling stuff. They are very bad memory devices, which is why they suggest that we externalize our memory so that we can keep our minds free and clear to actually focus on the things at hand, you know, the tasks that we are actually trying to get done, while not having to, like, you know, recall things from our own memory. Now, what do I mean by externalizing our memory? What I simply mean is writing things down or putting them somewhere where you can actually access them at a later point to do something with those ideas. It could be a to-do item, it could be an action list, it could be anything, you know? But just having that medium, just having that physical external space where you could store stuff that comes up with in your mind at different times of the day, it might become a lot easier for you to gain access to those ideas, those solutions, those action steps at a later time to do something with them. That's where the first principle comes in, guys, which is capturing, you know? So I have made it a rule that no matter where I am, no matter what I am doing, if I get a certain idea, if I get a certain insight or a vision of something that I could do later on or right then and there that could move me forward on my projects, on my business ventures, on my YouTube videos, on my blog articles that I write, I stop right then and there and I capture it. I either capture it on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer, with all of these digital apps that I have and the ecosystem that I have developed now to be able to access these ideas, capture them anywhere and be able to access them even on my phone, on my iPad or my computer, wherever it makes the most sense when I'm actually trying to access those ideas and do something with them. So let's say, for example, talk about our friend from Instagram, you know? Let's say they are working on this application, this social media app, which could be for fitness enthusiasts. And they were taking a walk, or they could be at the gym working out, and they had this amazing insight that they could build this feature, this community feature, where fitness enthusiasts and community members could talk to each other, share updates on their progress, share nutrition tips, share training tips, and just talk to each other and have a sense of community so that everyone can grow and build together, you know? Now, this is a great idea, but what good this idea be if our friend from Instagram just thought about it and forgot about it later on? That's what happens to most of us, you know? This is why we find it so hard to actually make progress on projects that we come up with for ourselves, or even sometimes at our work, because our brains are so bad at recalling stuff. When we actually want to do something about that, we sit down to do the work and we go like, what was that thing I was thinking about? What was that great idea I had to build out this feature, to write that code? I cannot recall that. Or sometimes when I have insights that I want to share out with you guys for a YouTube video for that matter, you know, if I don't capture those ideas, then I will just be spinning my wheels thinking about the thing that I was thinking about, you know, a few days ago. Whereas if I had captured it somewhere, and if I'm trying to do the work right now, I could just gain access to it by going to that place where I have captured that idea, that solution, or that action step that I could use right now without having to recall it when I actually need it. So let's say our friend from Instagram again, they captured this idea, this great community feature. Now they have that in some place where they can revisit it and do something with that idea. So that's the first principle, guys. Capture. Become a capturing machine. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, if you have an insight, if you have an idea that you could do something with and could apply to maybe at your work, maybe for a personal project, as long as you can externalize these things outside of your brain, you would have better clarity, better mental clarity. You would not be fogged up in your head, and you would be a lot more focused on the things that you're actually trying to do. So that's the first thing, guys, capture. Now let's talk about the second principle here, which is clarification. Now that you have captured the the idea, it is really important for you to clarify what is this idea about, what are you going to do with it. You need to capture that somehow as well. Let's talk about our friend again and this feature that they thought about, which was the community feature that they wanted to build. So that's the idea that they have captured, community feature, build it out. It's just not enough in itself to come back later and do something with it. So they need to clarify it so that this action item has a better meaning. Let's say in our general life, you are walking somewhere and you're like, oh, I need to call that person. So you just write that down, call person. But you never really clarified it as to why do you want to call that person. Let's say you were trying to delegate them a task, but as long as you're really not writing that task down that you want to delegate, you are not going to remember later that this is why you wanted to make the call. So along with that action step, along with the idea that you had or that thought that you had to call a person, you also need to clarify why did you have to call that person. So for our friend here, who was trying to build this community feature in their app, they could clarify a few things about this feature, why they are building this feature, who is it for, how the users will be using this feature on the app. Whatever detail could come up in their mind, while it's fresh, while this idea is fresh, they could be coming up with more insights, which they should be adding details to and clarifying it. So that's the second step, guys. Capture, then clarify, which is very important. Now let's talk about the third principle, which is going to be organize. So I have this concept of buckets and folders, which could be on my Notion databases, which could be on my Trello or my Apple Notes, wherever I'm capturing these ideas. I have a system, I have folders, I have buckets where I am putting these ideas and organizing them so that at a later point when I actually want to revisit them, I know where they are, where I could be looking to find them at the right time so that I can actually do something with those ideas. It could be folders on your desktop or it could be pages in a notebook, but you need some sort of organizing system, but just by doing that, you will have a better clarity, better picture of where that information is. So that is also very important, guys. The third thing, organize. Let's talk about the fourth principle, which is going to be reflect. Now, a lot of people have put in habits like weekly reflection or daily reflection. I personally take the time out every Sunday to take a look at my master task list where I put down anything that I can come up with. I myself capture ideas and tasks and action items and solutions all the time, no matter where I am. Even if I'm working out, if I come up with something that I could do to build a feature out on my website, another YouTube video, another idea that I want to share out with you guys, or a product that I might be creating even 2 years down the line, I'm regularly reflecting upon those. And as I'm looking at these files and folders and task items, I might be coming up with more insights. I might be coming up with more ideas that I can later on add on to these things and flush these ideas out and make them into bigger concepts that you can later use. So for example's sake, as we were talking about our friend working on the social media application for fitness enthusiasts, let's say while they were reflecting upon their task list, they come across this item of the feature, the community feature that they were thinking about, and they come up with this extension of the feature, a sub feature where a user could give a pat on someone's back or give them a high five. Let's say for that matter, if a person lost 10 kgs, now that's a huge achievement, and the whole community now can chip in to help them feel proud about themselves. Now this is an amazing idea that could complement the community feature idea that they captured, that our friend captured in the first place. Now they wouldn't have been able to come up with this insight if they were not reflecting upon it, or if they hadn't captured this idea in the first place. So this is why reflection is so important, guys. So make it a habit to regularly reflect upon these things, and the best way to do it would be choose a day in the week. It could be the Friday after your work, or it could be a Saturday, it could be a Sunday when you're feeling relaxed and you could just sit down with a coffee or some tea and actually reflect upon these things. So let's talk about the next principle now, guys, which is going to be engage. So let's bring this example back about our community feature. Our friend has captured this community feature idea, they have clarified it, they have organized it, and they have put it in the right place in a folder or wherever it belongs, and they have reflected upon it, and now it's the time to engage, actually take action on this idea. So now would be the time for our friend from Instagram again to sit down and code this feature out and start building this feature into their application. Now I want to talk about this concepts of draft. We all know what drafts are, right? Now from my own experience, sometimes when I was working back again in Chicago as an e-commerce software developer, I remember a lot of the features would take me 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or sometimes even a month to build out in entirety. And as people, as humans, we can only do so much focused and attention work in chunks of 45 minutes to an hour. After that, we feel feel exhausted, we need to walk away from our work. And I could not possibly be building these entire code features out in a matter of an hour while my attention is there. Which is why we need active drafts so that we can keep building upon these, So an active draft in our friend's case here could be a code repository, or in my case for the YouTube video, it could be a timeline on Final Cut Pro, or it could be a Word document for one of the blog articles that I'm writing, But by having these active drafts, we can keep finding chunks of time, 30 minutes here and there, an hour here and there, when we are taking a break from work, or when we're just sitting around and we feel the motivation to work on the project, we can just pick up on the draft. We can just go back to the code repository and start adding some more code. Or I could go back to my Word document, my draft for a blog article, and write a few lines, a few more sentences, and actually build that idea out further. Or pick up the camera again, in my case here, as I'm filming this YouTube video, and say a few more things that I could come up with. Or if I'm working on my website, I could be adding another feature on there. But having an active draft can really help you guys to keep coming back to it and adding to the project bit by bit, so that you're not feeling like you have to start all over again every time. Which is why a lot of us feel so overwhelmed, because we have this entire this grand idea in our head that we want to flush out, we want to build, which could take a month, 2 months, 6 months, or even a year. And we just shy away in the fear of, who am I to build out this entire project? And I do not have the time. There are so many distractions. But the reality is, guys, that you do not have to do the entire thing all in one sitting. You can keep coming back to your active draft to keep adding on to it bit by bit, and you will actually be able to drive your project to the finish line to get the result that you have wanted all along. So to come back to our friend here, they could keep going back to their code repository, keep adding in design elements, keep adding in the buttons that they need to, keep adding in the content, keep writing more code until this feature is actually built out. And just like this feature, they could keep working on other features one by one thing at a time, and they will eventually find out that their project is done. So guys, that's the art of getting things done. By having this 5-principle system, we can make our productivity a lot more effective by doing things over time, by actually having the courage to do those things, because now we know that we have a system. Now we have clarity over our thoughts, over our ideas, over our actions, and we don't have to spin our wheels all the time to keep recalling them, because we already have all of these ideas, solutions, and action steps some way flushed out on our systems, on our devices, on papers, on to-do lists, so that we can keep going back to these things and add on to them and build these projects out until they are done. So that's what I wanted to share out with you guys in this video. I hope you find it useful, and you can leverage this system in your own life to be more productive, to do more projects that you've always wanted to do and see done, but just could not find the time or could not find the courage to actually start somewhere. But guys, trust me, if you practice the system, you will find the courage to do these things. You won't have to fight the fear, because you already know by doing bit by bit, by taking one step at a time, you can actually make monumental progress on the projects that you want to get done. You can apply this to anything that you want to, But trust me, for everything, you might find that you keep coming up with these insights that you're always like, oh, that's a great idea that I could work on. But now that you have a system to actually take an idea from point A and drive it all the way to the finish line, bit by bit, step by step, you will have the motivation to actually work on these projects and feel good about yourself by doing these things. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys in this video. I hope you found this useful in some way. And if you actually did find value in this video and my message, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up. Actually smash it, for that matter. And I'll be producing a lot more content, and I'll be doing a lot more videos, not just on fitness, guys. I want to share a lot of ideas with you guys on productivity, mindset, and everything that I learn on a regular basis, so that maybe you guys can find the inspiration, maybe you guys can find these ideas helpful and apply it in your own life, just as I am doing in my life. None of these ideas are from me. These are all the things that I have learned myself, and it would be very selfish of me to not share it out with you guys. So please feel free to even subscribe to my channel for future videos that I'm going to be sharing out with you guys, and also hit that bell icon so that you can stay updated and you can get notified whenever I release a new video. And until next time, guys, keep exploring, keep finding ways to be better and more effective in your life, and keep improving every single day. It is really all of these simple ideas that make us a better person, make us a more valuable member of our society, so that we can add more value to other people's lives by being effective and productive in our own personal lives. Because who are we really doing all of this work for? It is for other people. I'm making this video for you guys. So guys, keep exploring, keep bettering yourself every single day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right.